Welcome back to the Application Lifecycle Development course. In this lesson, we're going to test the end-to-end CI/CD process. That's continuous integration and continuous deployment. So to do that, what I think I'm going to do is something really simple to start off with. We're not going to worry about code right now. We're just going to change this README because it's getting out of date. We only have the one build and it doesn't even tell us which branch it's for or anything else. Just the latest build succeeded. So we don't know to panic or not, because if this is production and it failed, that's a little more panic than if it's just development. Development, you just kind of laugh at the developer and make him fix it. So let's go ahead and add all three pipelines here and label them master, staging, and release. Now remember, if we go to our pipelines build and then go to edit, we can go over here to our options and come down here for the image URL and for the image URL of a specific branch. So let's copy this one and then I'm going to paste it into a notepad so I have it. Let's show you that. And what we have here is it has a URL and then at the end of it says branch name equals master. So you do the same thing, copy it and paste it again. I'll do it 2 more times. And this time we'll say that instead of master, it is staging. And the next one is release. So those are the 3 links that we need. Now let's open up our readme.md file. That's right here locally. We're going to take out this right here. And I'm going to say, let's create a section called build status. And then we can do bullet points. Let's do that. So a bullet point is just a dash and a space. And let's say our master branch, or let's say the same branches, development environment, or branch. Let's call it branch because it's not the environment yet. And then we'll paste in this URL. And I'll do the same exact thing. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it down below a couple more times. And this is our staging. And finally, this is our production. And we could actually just change them right here. Seems simpler. So staging. And then this is release. Don't get confused, release versus production. I think that should do it. We're going to find out in just a minute. So I'm going to hit save here and close this out. I can close this as well and don't save it. Let's open up Visual Studio and go to our Team Explorer. We see we have 1 file to commit, 1 change. So we hit stage. And notice that readme.md is not even in this project anywhere. And yet we still are able to see the changes since it's in that repository folder. So add build environment badges. Adds a badge for each build environment. On a commit stage, what I'm going to do is instead of doing anything here, I'm going to do it at the command line just so you see the difference. And at the same time, I'm also going to minimize this. And let's go over to our build just so we can see a new build pop in. So let's come down here. We'll shrink this down a bit. And now what I'll do is I will say get status. That's the first thing you should do. We're ahead of origin master by 1 commit. So first, our markdown file the way we want to. They do link to successful, but it's not the way we want. We'll go ahead and fix that later. The point is at this point that we have a working process for both our build and our release for development. But now we need to take it a step further. Oh, sorry, development there. Now we need to take a step further, bring up our command line, and say, well, that's great. And we're going to assume that that was a great push. We want to take it to staging and production because this is just a test. So we're going to say, at our command line, let's say git checkout staging. Now we switch to staging. I didn't have to say -b because staging already exists. And now I can say git merge master. Pull the changes from master over into staging. And notice it says fast forward because it's saying we just have one extra commit. We're going to add that to the end. And now I can say git push on staging. And that's going to push staging up. A few steps behind development. Release can be even a few steps behind staging, and that's natural because what's in production is not what we're building today. That's going to come in a week or two probably. So we're going to move it through the process in an orderly manner. So git merge staging. We did it fast forward, and we're going to do a git push to push it to release. That's all we need to do. I'm going to check out back to master. That's my habit of mine, just so I don't accidentally start committing to the wrong branch. Now here we have one new build, which will watch this process through. I'll go ahead and pause the video. Oh, it just succeeded. Okay, there we go. I was just saying it just succeeded, but didn't go anywhere. So I'll just pause the video and wait until hopefully the release is done. And we'll make sure that it did, in fact, trigger the release branch or the production branch and push it all the way through. And the build is complete. So let's go to release. And instead of being built, it says pending approval on production stage. So saying you can't go here yet. You can't deploy this yet until you approve it. So let's click on release 2. And it says, hey, there's a pending approval here. Do you want to approve? So I hit approve. I can also hit cancel. Let's hit approve. And approve says, okay, we can reassign it if we want to. We're not going to. We can leave a comment here on why we approved it or rejected it. And we can also defer it for later. We can schedule a time when this should be deployed. In this case, I'm going to say, you know what? Let's go ahead and just approve it. No comment necessary. Approve. Now that it's approved, it will start the process of deploying this stage. And there we go. Now we're done with our release pipeline. There is one quirk I want to work on, and that is that when I was showing you about the different mechanisms for gating this, including gates, I accidentally left them enabled, which means we have a 5-minute gate. I noticed that about 3 minutes into it. At that point, it's kind of too late. Just wait for it to be done. So let's turn that off and save it. Turn off the gate. That way, just the approval is all we need. So essentially what it was doing was it was saying, okay, you approved it. Now I'm going to wait 5 minutes. And I really didn't want that. But what that means, before, this is setup. Now you're done the setup. Now you can see what it looks like on an every day, a normal day. And so that is a lot easier. The setup takes a little bit to get started, but once it's started, then we can just kind of rely on it doing its job for us. And we have to worry about less and less when it comes to the repetitive stuff. Okay? So that's the next lesson, is the simple flow of how a normal day would go in the life of a developer using this system.